10:04, I'm calling the meeting to order. Our chairman got another commitment, so I am sitting in for him. And first off, let's just do the roll call before I get into I need to amend the agenda. So, how do we do this roll call?
I'll start. I'm Geraldine Stanley, the Contractor's License Board Secretary.
Nita Bailey, Contractor's License Board Investigator Supervisor.
Maria Perez, Administrative Officer, Contractor's License Board.
Selena Ashland, CLB Board Member.
Tom Keeler, Assistant Attorney General.
Michelle Santos, ex officio Rev Tax.
Sir Sanchez, Executive Board Director.
Aaron Aragon, Contractor's License Board Investigator.
Andrew Misa, CLB Investigator.
Marcus Pinocchio, CLB Investigator.
Mr. Cruz.
Matthew
Cruz, member.
We don't hear.
No, we don't have any.
There is from the public.
I'm sorry?
Mars Joseph,
Thank you all. I need to have a motion to amend the agenda to move the executive director's report before the section reports. He has a commitment downtown. So may I have a motion?
I move.
Need a second? All in favor? Aye, Matthew? So moved.
Aye.
Okay. We have on the third item on our agenda is the review of the minutes for April 20, regular board meeting. The one July 22nd that was already taken care of. It was just okay. So I need to have I'm sure all of us read the minutes. So I need a motion to approve the minutes. Or is there any questions on the minutes?
I move to accept the minutes subject to corrections.
Any second?
A second.
Okay, Matthew seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the motion
Aye.
to approve the minutes of April 20th has been accepted.
Do we have any public
Is there any public comments? Mr. Johnson, am I saying that? Okay, thanks. So, we will move the executive director. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you all. Report on update rules and regulations. This has been submitted to legal for review. It's now with the legal office. And once that's done, it'll be forwarded to the board for final disposition. Okay, and B, report an OPA audit being conducted. We've been notified that the COB will be under review on the scheduled time and date. We've already given them our documents that they requested for the review for the audit. Okay, so two of their preliminary document requests were submitted on 5/11/22. Okay, and that's the date they wanted those documents submitted to them. So that was done. Today we have not received from their office yet on when's the scheduled actual audit to begin.
What are they auditing? Is it
Okay,
something specific or?
their, what is the document?
licensing and investigation procedures?
Okay, so it's been there, it's been given to them, all 9 documents they requested for. So upon completion of their review, then they will call us for the actual person-to-person interview here at COB. They also requested for POCs from each section, so Maria being on the admin side and Nita on the investigation side. They'll be actually talking to this individual about 90% of the time of the review. Okay. Okay, there's a C here, report on the application for J. Lexumana and W. Janicek. This was a follow-up from last board meeting where the board rescinded the passing grades issued by former Executive Director Orsini stating that a fail is a fail. The board granted the executive director to make the decision on whether to allow a retest or not. Mr. Janusik by law had one more opportunity to take the test, so that means he's entitled to the second test. All right, and I granted Mr. Lakshmana one last chance to take the test, given the situation at the time she'll be between testing and issuing contractor's license. Okay, both individuals passed and currently have their contractor's license. Now, my decision to go ahead and, well, for Janusik, by law, he's entitled for a second test. Now, for, what's his name, Lakshmana, this individual had shown progressive proactions to our applications process here at COB. I found some miscommunication in the past for all this. I mean, it's been over a year, so I considered all that, and given what COB has required from this individual to come back in, I consider all that. So, I mean, you know, I look at it also as giving the opportunities for these applicants, whereas part of our duties and responsibility here by law is to help the public. Okay, so this is one way of helping them. Maybe if they could prove to us, and they did. So I went ahead and approved for the retest, and they did pass with good grades. So that was it for on that report. Thank you. So
Any questions? Matt?
Do you have any
I'm
questions?
good. I'm good.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Director, did you want to leave then?
yes, just finish my.
Next is section reports.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maria.
Yes, report for May 16th, we have a total of active contractors is 937. Inactive contractors is 34. Master electrician is 29. Total amount is 1,000. The American Rescue Plan, our first purchase order, which is for the vehicles, we just verified with GSA. They informed us actually May 11th that there is a delay in the vehicle. There's supposed to be a microchip. So we don't, that's the delay on the two vehicles. And
Maria, excuse me, did they tell you when they will be expecting these microchips?
in another 45 days.
Is it required for you guys to be able to use these, but for you to use these trucks?
I believe so. It's through GSA. We follow what GSA tells us. We also have an issue example for the computers. Worldwide, they're having issues with computers, and it's going to take it another, instead of 45 days, another 120 days for the computers.
My question is for this is, do you have the vehicles, equipment to do your jobs? I mean, that's kind of bottom line of this.
Our vehicles are really,
Not reliable.
they're not reliable.
Maybe.
Even our computers were the three boards are using one computer.
Somehow between you and the director, could you guys look into how you may be able to utilize these until, at least for the trucks, but at the same time, the computers, they're not on, and I'm assuming they can't.
They're not.
I mean, GSA must have another source. That's kind of, to be able to do your job, it just seems unacceptable that delay of another 120 days, and by that time you get it, the year's over. What are they supposed to be doing? I mean, how can you effectively have reports and things to us if you don't have that? So is there a way, I mean.
A lot of departments, even Public Works, they're even barring the director's office is barring one vehicle, and they're saying they have issues, so. A lot of government agencies, a lot of our vehicles are old.
Well, the thing
And
with
we
this,
are trying to see who is can get assistance from other departments. And that's how we did it before.
My thing is, as an agency, if one of the employees is out there with a car and it breaks down or whatever, that's a liability for us if we don't take care of that. So, between, you know, the director, can you guys look into more? And if you need the board to step in, then we will, but I think for the good of the agency, we need to, be a little bit, I'm sure you're proactive, but I'm just saying, to maybe, not just sit back and say, okay, we'll wait another 45 days.
No,
or 20 days,
we've emailed GSA and we were asking for the response, what can we do? Is there something else we can do or can we?
but- Yeah, it's a matter of a chip that tracks where this truck is.
Yeah.
As Michelle said earlier, we're only 32 miles long.
I really don't know where the vehicle's at, if it's here on Guam or anything. I can verify
Okay,
and,
would you just email us and let us know, so
okay,
that if we need to, you know, do help in that situation, we will. Okay, thank you.
okay. And then, our supplies. Today we should, for the equipment, the air purifier and, our guns should be, they just arrived today. And our supplies for like face masks, hand sanitizer, we're still waiting for that. As for the new applications, the new company is JRM Builders. And the owner is Randy Babuyo. And they have an existing army, which is Joven Malari, and their classification is A and B. And William Janisak, he just took the test and passed, and now he is the RME for EA Engineering Science and Technologies, and he took the test for A. And Roland Hunan also passed the test. He's the additional RME for he replaced the existing RME for Reliant Global LLC, and he took the test for A, B, and C17. And Mitchell, Trenchless Inc. That's a new company, and their RME is Molori Paul, and they have an A. And Mr. Mark Manabusan took the test. He's new, and we have a new company, which is Mariana's Builders Technologies LLC, and he took the test for A, B. That's what we have.
Well, have you have any questions for me? Okay. Thanks, Maria. Next, Nita, investigation.
Thank you. Good morning, Vice Chair. Good morning, everyone. For our April 2022 report for the investigation section, we have 7 open cases. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, actually 5 were already reported last month. These are still open cases. On 1, 2, 3, they are on citation that are not paid yet. So I will be following up on the payment for their citation. On number 4 for dueñas, this is warranty. The contractor had tried to schedule, but the homeowner is the one that's not available because I think he works with the military. But we are looking at closing this case this month. On number 5, Stephen King versus Spaceport. This is also ongoing. It's also the homeowner that's not submitted the blueprints and the permit to the Base Corp in order for their engineer to double check, because they already have submitted the calculation for the what they're questioning on the retaining wall and had submitted a certification that it will hold. but they also wanted to see, you know, the permit of the homeowner. So that is still pending. As far as number 6, Ronald Allen versus Lati Builders, there is also warranty issues, and we have already submitted the notice to appear to Lati Builders, and they are just going to submit all the documents as far as the items that have already corrected. There are certain items already that had been corrected on their warranty, but it's not all of them. So we're hoping to close this also within this month. And the number 7, Renee Balvin versus RN Builders, unfinished work. This is, their attorneys already had notified the investigator that they will be going to civil. We have attorneys involved here. So the cases that we have closed, we had 4. Number 1 is G4S versus TFP. I had provided the letter to the board for the decision to close the case. This is the one that C68 that cannot be enforced. So all the letters has been sent also to the parties. You guys have a copy of the letter. Okay. And then case 2022-0204, James David versus Casey also. So this one has been corrected, and the homeowner is satisfied and signed off on the corrections, so we'll have to close the case. And on case number 2022-0403, Rose Kyle versus CQL, we did not find any violation in this because she was complaining about setback and encroachment about her property, but when the investigators went to verify all the markers and they are in place, we did not find any violation. So I have to close the case. And on number 4, 2022-0404, CLB versus Guam Construction. This is a safety violation, fall hazard. So we issued a citation for 1,000, and they had paid and corrected the violation. So updates, 2021-0801, CLB versus Samsung NC. So the settlement agreement is already being finalized with our legal counsel and Attorney Berman. So the final documents will be, oh, you got this? Okay. So these are the final documents. Yeah, this comes from him, so. So, all of this, the conditions for the settlements are all in here, and I believe both parties.
Mr. Keeler, Attorney Keeler provided me with the information on how it will move forward. The name that will be added to the Samsung part is Mr. Jin Cheng Cook, and then once he signs it, then it will be brought to Mr. Bernard Benavenci, our chairman. He signs it, and then it will be forwarded to Attorney Berman's office. Okay, so that is expected to happen quite.
Yeah. Mr. Berman's off island, he'll return this Friday, so we can assume that he'll have it signed in the next few days following that.
So we settled on 300,000.
That's correct.
So that will almost be closed also for this month. And then on the GMI, AC Pences, it's still an open case. It is still with the review of our legal counsel. And on the Primos case 2021-0906, the board last meeting voted for this to be on scheduled for a hearing, but we have to postpone it because we didn't have the hearing officer yet. So we might just be able to have this on the next board meeting. number of building permits cleared for April, we have 83, which is almost like the same every month in the 8 issue now. And the total citations we issued is 4. So there's 8,500 because we increased the fine for Stephen Wang and Harmony. That's why it went up to 8.5, and there $1,000 that's paid.
Is this amount of fines year to date or just for the month?
For this month.
Okay,
We have to readjust because last month, based on what we had, we only fined, I think, 500 and 1,000 for these 2 cases, but the board had decided that we have to up the citation, so that's why the amount went up to 8,500.
Nita, if you could, on another, just a line below that, you have your year-to-date, just so we could see what kind of.
Oh, sure.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize that you guys are out there collecting, you're assessing and we're collecting money, so there is, collections, there are violations. And people need to know that you violate something, we are collecting.
Yes, so I'll put year-to-date then, I'll add that
Year-to-date, so to kind of
year-to-date.
see the fruits of your hard labor.
Because on my annual, we have like 43,000 last year that we have collected.
So it's kind of nice to see where you are in progress-wise for the year now that we're kind of out of COVID.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you
I
very
did
much
that.
for your report. Any questions, Matt?
Does the board have to approve this settlement or no?
They've approved, I don't think it's technically required, they've approved the settlement, and therefore I think your board chairman can go ahead and finalize the document.
Yeah, I think we did. Thank you, Nita. Old business. What are you doing now?
I can. The old business is C11 demolition exam, which was provided to the board members, for review, and then we just would like to follow up and see what you guys thought of this exam. If we can get a proposed action of formally approving the test to move to the next step, which I believe would be implementing into use. Ms. Ashland, if you would like to review the test as well, we can postpone this action till the next meeting after you've.
Yeah, I think I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she comes from a different background, so your eyes are different than ours, just looking at it. Okay, thanks, Ashley.
So Ms. Michelle Sanchez moved to postpone to next meeting. Do you need a second?
Second? I need a second. Sheila. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion is carried to postpone this with the board members reviewing. Thank you.
And then the second part on this agenda is the proposed names to provide to the governor for replacement of Mr. James Casalo as a board member. I believe this will be the final step to actually implementing a new board member. The last board meeting, we asked for just kind of thoughts on who would be a proper person to recommend. So just coming back to the board to see if anybody had thought of any names to prepare for the governor. Ms. Ashland, I know you're in the. Oh, sorry. One of the names that was brought up, I don't remember if it was in the meeting or just in office talk, was Miss Jessica Barrett with Barrett Plumbing. That was a name that was brought up, and then if anybody else has any other suggestions that we can provide to the governor to have somebody appointed, hopefully by the next board meeting.
Jessica would be, a good fit. But do we have a form or like the requirements or qualifications or anything like that?
As far as I know, it's just the law, correct?
Right,
Just-
they're in a requirement or a list of requirements for board members. The board is not required to submit a proposed individual. I think the important thing is to write the governor and
let
you know,
them
to
know there's
advise
concern.
that there's a
They also-
opening
Yeah.
and to request an appointment. So, it's up to the board if they wanna recommend somebody, it is, it's not required.
And then, I believe it was, Ms. Borja who asked to verify about the absence, if we can have them removed.
There
Oh,
is a
sorry,
law,
Ms.
right?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
There
it
is
was
a law that if you miss so many board meetings,
3,
um,
then we can request
Request.
to have them replaced. I think it's more nicely worded, my apologies, but you're right, I'm sorry, it was you.
I met Senator Frank Bloss at lunch one day, he was with Vince, and I was telling Vince about that, and then Senator Bloss said, yes, there's a law. I didn't have a chance to look it up. but-
Yeah, well, and notwithstanding that, I agree with you, but notwithstanding that, it's been,
Yeah.
I'd
Over a
say,
year, yes.
over a year,
Yes,
so.
yes, so I can prepare that document, does that need a motion to prepare the document to,
That's
To
up to the
remove him?
boards.
For,
Well,
to remove him? No, it's already in
It's
the
already
minutes.
in the- it's already in the
Okay,
minutes.
last
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, I think what we're asking is
that, yeah.
if we have recommendations. I don't think the board needs to move that name on, it's just some, you know, one of us or the director can tell the
Okay,
governor's
Yeah.
office that this is a person we,
the contact of
That's
the
it.
governor's office for the boards is Jean Titano. Her number's 473-1163. I can send you her email as well. Just
I
remind me.
believe she's the new, board.
Yeah,
she-
coordinator, yeah.
Coordinator, yes, okay, I have her email.
Okay.
Okay.
so that being it, we really don't need to take an action on this. The next item is the new business. I guess for the proposals for the, for guidelines, it's in a draft. You guys are we supposed to?
Is that what we're
Nita,
doing?
Nita,
No.
this is, I believe, Nita can present on it, this is the document I believe that Mr. Cruz had, brought up at the last meeting.
This is like the proposed guidelines, for us investigators and the CLB. But the final authority of this still is with the board. We have created or proposed these guidelines in response to also the concern of Mr. Cruz that we don't have any sort of guideline when we're imposing, you know, the fees that we are imposing to, you know, the violations. So we have created these guidelines. We have different offenses here with the different amounts. On the advertising, we had put $1,000, penalty, fine, and citation $1,000. It was almost similar to what they have in California. And did some research, Florida. So that is why we, you know, we based also on the other states on this one. And of course on the 70108 that is already in our public law. And then the 70109.1, this was the amendment that was added during the, introduced by Mr. Morrison. This is regarding the restitution. So this is also in the public law. The 50%, the 50-50, the 50% value of the project, and then not less than 50% shall be used to compensate the affected consumers. But it is in public law. As far as the offenses of 70116A1 through 20, we have different amounts that we're proposing to impose. We got the amount of the project. The first offense will be $2,500, and then depending on how big is the project. So we have some percentage that we put in that. And I remember that the last time Ms. Santos, we asked how much, you know, amount that the it's like there's a limit and amount
To
that
bring
we,
to the board.
yeah, that we can, and then after that, everything will go to the board.
You mean Mr. Sanchez can
Yeah,
impose
that
a
Mr.
fine
Sanchez
up
can
to a
impose.
certain limit and
So we put here, actually, up to 1 million to 5 million for the first offense.
for, for Mr. Sanchez to
Mhm.
approve?
Is that, that's why it's for your review, if that amount, you feel like it is still under, Mr. Sanchez purview, or if that amount exceeds, 1 million, then everything has to go through, the board.
I don't recall reviewing it. I think it may have been forwarded to me. I haven't reviewed it. I have a concern with having set fines, as I think circumstances and the size of the project may dictate something either outside or less than a specific fine. So, again, I haven't seen this.
So do you wanna,
And you have to take a look at this schedule in conjunction with the board's existing authority, which is to assess a fine on a project violation from 200 up to 50% of the project. So I would just simply need to review it.
because Mr. Matt Cruz the last time was, giving, us, on cases that there is, it's like we cannot just arbitrary, just like say this is it. So he was like asking for a guideline, that's why we created this, and we had this some kind of guideline before, but it never really went through the board.
Let me speak to him directly. The issue was that we had 2 fines that there was no set procedure or logic that was outlined as far as how they came to that decision. There was no, there was just, it seemed to be an arbitrary amount. And what we wanted to do was to shore that up. Because when somebody gets fined one thing and then another person gets fined, a different amount, and they come back and they say, why was this person fined this amount and why were we fined this amount, when the cases are similar or identical in nature? How do we answer that question? But the fines were dramatically different. Would we fall under, would we be questioned as to why? Or would we be able to answer why the fines were different for these 2 different individuals where the situation is similar or exact? Mr. Wheeler, could you please answer me the question?
I don't have the examples that you're referencing in front of me, but I agree that violations that are the same for one project and a second project should be similar, if not the exact same fine. So there's
Then
that.
would you say that we should have some sort of guideline in that case?
Well, I would think that you want to properly document the determination or decision to go forward with the fine. So you reference arbitrary, I'm not certain it's arbitrary if
Then we should
whoever's
pull up
assessing the fine.
the specific items from the last meeting and you should review. And then issue us a response based on that. Thank you.
Matthew, I think I understand what you're coming from with this, but one of the things is, since we just got this, so we need to review this because, based on that, because every situation is different, and depending on how the severity of the project, that's where we kind of, even though we put it in writing, black and white, what the amount is,
We could, Rena, we could always add, you know, different situations which have an impact on the decision, compensating factors
But
into
once
the
we put it
decision,
in
but there has
black
to
and
start from one point. And then compensating factors can be considered in making a deviation from a set ruling.
Well, I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. I think what we
I'm not,
want to do.
I don't think the wheel was invented yet if we don't have if we don't have a standardized, form of setting fines.
Well, what I was trying to say was that all we have to do is take a look at other jurisdictions. I'm sure that the issues have already been addressed, and so it's a matter of selecting.
And we did say that if there was something out there as far as an industry standard, we could use that, and that was supposed to be placed within, the rule, you know, the guidelines of how to set the fine. But it's not listed anywhere that we look to the industry standard. So if we're gonna look to the industry standard in other jurisdictions, then it should be placed that we will refer to a specific, industry standard listing or reference a jurisdiction in which we base our assessed, fines on.
Okay. I believe you, Nita, these percentages or whatnot you're giving us, you did your due diligence or where you got these?
I got some states, you know,
Okay,
that
so
I
you
have
have.
researched it, like Hawaii, California. It's almost, you know, similar to what we had put in here. And even on the other state, like Washington, they have even criminal, you know, penalty, like jail. But we don't have that. But the amount, you know, I'm just basing mostly on the amount that they are imposing on the similar unlicensed, you know, whatever the amount, the project amount, so I research it.
Can you put it together in a table to compare? You know, by the, you
By the
mentioned
state
these
and by the
states.
amount and what you're proposing.
Yeah, and maybe just email it to us, so
And
maybe
over
by
there.
the next board meeting, we'll have an idea.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah, that would be great. And then that way we can kind of look at it and kind of assess, you know, apples to apples kind of thing. And so,
I'll do that.
yeah, because I know
Maybe at least 5 states is okay?
that's fine, because I know you spent time on doing this, so
Yeah.
we don't want you recreating anything. Just send that to us and just a sort of sheet kind, so that we can review it and then make a decision, and the next board meeting we'll bring it up. Is that okay, board?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yeah, that's perfect, that's
You wanna
perfect,
review
perfect.
this, sir?
Okay, thank
You
you.
can email it to me.
Okay, we will do that too. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I thought it was sent.
I know.
Okay, are there any other comments, questions?
No.
Okay. I did ask, Geraldine to send us information on Friday,
Hmm.
the funeral for Vince.
Oh, yes.
Right, I believe it's at Sheraton, right?
Yes, from 8:30 to 12.
And then there's a memorial service at 1, and there's mass at St. Anthony at 2.
I believe,
Yeah.
was it St. Anthony or the cathedral?
Oh, Cathedral, sorry.
Yes, misinformation, so I'll send that to us, please. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
I know.
if there's nothing else, the next board meeting will be on June 15th at 10 a.m. Available on Zoom and in person. I think I'll be back again. Hopefully Mr. Benedict will be back. So that being said, what is the time? May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second by Ashley.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay, thank you, Matthew.
thank you. Have a great day. Stay safe, everybody.
All right. Thanks, staff, for being here. Is that PBS?
We have, Loretta.
Oh.
No, it's not.
It's okay. Because we're recycling the one that's why the folders, you know,